Hey there everyone, happy Thursday. King 5 Meteorologist Adam Claibon here on this getaway day for some which are trying to get out and head home. For others, maybe just trying to get some last minute stuff done heading into the holiday weekend. It's looking like it is going to be an interesting forecast tonight and into the day tomorrow. That will be the big part of really the next few days as we have this ice possibility with freezing rain heading on in. A lot of cold air locked in across the area, but at least we saw a little sunshine here early this morning and some high clouds beginning to filter in right now. Beautiful look at Tacoma, Mount Rainier off into the distance. Here in Seattle, yeah, you're noticing cloudy skies now firmly in place, and that's going to be locking in that colder air. Same up across Hurricane Ridge. Now we are seeing some return showing up on radar up over the Olympics. I wanted to show you this one because as of right now, it looks like the air mass extremely dry, and that means a lot of what it's going to be falling initially probably going to evaporate before it hits the surface here where we are, so we're going to have to saturate that atmosphere. Stevens Pass, things are quiet for the time being, and across Snoqualmie Pass too, but it's here, there, and in White Pass that we're expecting things to turn snowy first. Possibly icy and stay icy for a little while as we lock in some of the cold air there. Out along Westport, we could see some wintry weather here as we still have a really cold air mass in place. And then as we take a look, looks like our Bellingham camera is down, but we are seeing that conditions are fairly cold there. And as we go across some areas here closer to SeaTac Airport, all of that on off. So let's go ahead and continue on. Here's a look. Your current temperatures sitting in the upper teens and lower 20s. Now these numbers a bit warmer than what models were showing earlier this morning. It's not to say much because we're still well below freezing and still have a lot of that cold air to try to warm up as the system arrives. Now check out the winds. They're coming in out of the east. 15 miles per hour, so we still have that, and that will bring down some of your wind chills into the single digits and lower teens. So it's still more of a situation currently that you're having to really dress for the really bitterly cold air. Now, much worse of the cold air is off towards the east. As you can see, all of that diving down even into the center of the country. Oklahoma City at 33 degrees right now. Dallas is at 17. Houston still holding on at 55, but they'll be cooling down here pretty shortly too. So here's the timing. The rest of the day, if you're trying to get out, I think you're fine here around Puget Sound. And really, maybe even the first couple of hours of the overnight, it's not probably until about 10 p.m. that we start to see areas farther south around South Sound affected, and then around midnight here closer to Central and North Sound. There's a satellite radar picture. I did tell you that we do have some radar returns showing up on there. It looks like it's snowing, just not quite getting all that down to the surface. Deeper moisture, where you see some of those whiter colors showing up off of the coast, that's where we're initially going to start to see some of this come in initially as snow eventually turn that over to more of the freezing rain as we go into the night. And a couple of systems lined on up behind that, which is going to help to keep the rain going into the holiday weekend as we start to warm up and possibly even bring in some flooding concerns. Wind chill advisory still out until 10 p.m. and we're expecting those wind chills as low as 5 degrees below zero. I think we're safely above zero in most of those spots now. Winter storm warnings start up at 2 p.m. this afternoon along the south coast and heading generally down there across the Portland metro area and a lot of Oregon. And then up this way we have a winter storm warning or watch, that will start up at 4 p.m. and that will last until tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening, heading into tomorrow night with western Washington, possibly up to 3 inches, especially as you go from I think north of Seattle up around Everett and northward. We'll have that profile in the atmosphere that'll keep a lot of this in the form of snow. Areas farther south, and I'm thinking more South Sound, South King County, heading into more Pierce and Thurston County is where we have the better opportunities of seeing some more widespread freezing rain. So let's get into it right now. Here it is, right at 6 o'clock. We're starting to see the south coast being impacted by some of the snow, freezing rain that's showing up. That fills in, but you can see that the timing is right around midnight tonight. Let me see if I can back that up for you. Getting around, here we go, 9 to 10 o'clock, South Sound, starting to see initially some of that freezing rain. You can see right along more the central coast, Tahola, Hump Tulips, actually maybe even getting this into the form of rain pretty quickly. North coast, south coast, still dealing with the colder air firmly in place there. And then we continue on as we go on into the night, past midnight and into early tomorrow morning, where we're dealing with some of those areas of snow and freezing rain. Now, around Seattle, that's going to be the area that I think we could see kind of a back and forth between maybe sleet and snow, maybe some freezing rain that might help to limit some of the icing we get, but I think for sure south of there is where we have the opportunity of seeing some of the biggest impacts as well as the better chances of that freezing rain. Now we'll continue on into the afternoon. 1 o'clock, I think we're safely above freezing, and we're starting to notice things quieting on down with the freezing rain, and we're switching everything over to more than just liquid rain by that point and heading into Friday night. And then we got a couple of more systems to go through as we head into the upcoming weekend. I do want to point out, though, right here through the passes, we're still going to have a lot of that cold air kind of locked into place. So get ready for more icy travel here, Snoqualmie, and for Stevens Pass, White Pass too, as we're not going to be quite done with the wintry weather, even though it might switch over from that snow, but still dealing with that freezing rain. Now, lowland snow accumulations, I told you, it looks like from Everett northward is the better opportunity of getting some of the accumulating snowfall, especially up around Skagit and Whatcom counties. No big worries about huge icing up there. We could see a little bit, but looks like it is going to be more of a snow event for us over into those parts. And then across the passes, pretty good snows are going to be coming with us, as we're expecting about maybe 6 to 12 inches of snow on through the next couple of days. So let's get into those temperatures, because that's going to be key. This afternoon, temperatures holding steady into the mid-20s. We start to head into tonight. Here we are at 2 o'clock tonight. Low 20s. I think the models might be a little chilly with this, but either way, if we're talking about 4, even 5 degrees warmer, we're still below freezing. So we're still dealing with icing, and that's continuing on into tomorrow morning around 7 o'clock. Now, by the time we head into about 9, 10 o'clock, probably even better around 11 o'clock, you see those numbers right at around freezing. We're going to start to improve there. Not a complete cutoff of some of the icy conditions that we have, but once we do start to safely make our way above freezing, travel should be a lot easier here around Puget Sound, just still dealing with some of those passes, which will be a little icy, and also some of those higher terrain areas as well. Highs today are going to be in the 20s farther north, just generally cloudy skies, though. No big worries about impactful weather here for this afternoon. As you go south, looks like more highs in the mid to upper 20s across South Sound. And looking at your forecast tonight, check out those temperatures. They're warming. Those numbers actually a little off. I think that's more for what we're expecting tomorrow afternoon heading into tomorrow evening. So keep that in mind. Here's your 7-day forecast, 24 for today. Jump in temperatures back above freezing at least heading into the afternoon, evening tomorrow, and then much warmer through the holiday weekend and into the upcoming work week for next week. So I just did want to go over all of that. I did want to stress too that freezing rain has no traction at all. At least with snow, we have the ability to have some sort of traction, but those bridges and overpasses, sidewalks too, all things that you're going to want to keep an eye out for if you will be out early tomorrow morning or even late tonight. Maybe even try to hold off on tonight if you're going to be traveling past midnight. Power outages, going to be a concern with some of the heavier rain and ice weighing down power lines, possibly some of those branches. If we get to see some of those with the colder air mass in place, of course, I'm not going to feel great at all. So those are all things to consider, kind of get into the back of your mind as well, that if it is going to occur or if it does happen for you, that you'll have a plan that you'll be able to have some way of staying warm. We'll keep you updated as we head into the evening and into the night. We'll give you the latest details on what will be happening if we do see any changes to the models and where we could continue to see possibly some of the worst impacts as we head throughout the next 24 hours. Take care.